Hey everyone, it's Mojaxx back in the DJ City UK lab. This week's video is a tribute, a love letter if you will, to a format, the 7-inch 45 RPM vinyl single. I just adore these things for various reasons. The first one of course being nostalgia. You know, as a small child, my first music that I owned was a little collection of 45s. You know, cassettes and vinyl and CDs came later, 12 inches came later, but my first music that I owned was on 45, so that will always be special for me. Of course, you've got all the regular advantages of vinyl as well. So you've got nice picture sleeves a lot of the time, you've got loads of information on the label and that kind of thing, that's all lovely. But also with a 45, you've got this kind of essence of the track. You've got one track per side. This is your song. The other side is another song. You put it on, you play it, turn it over, play the next one, that's it. So each one encapsulates a track perfectly in itself. You know, that's a wonderful thing. You've also got a limited amount of time on a 45, you know, 4 minutes at the most. So you're always going to have a radio edit on there. You're not going to have a 12-inch, you know, extended 8-minute drum workout. It's always going to be that distilled essence of the track. The best 3.5 minutes is going to be on this 45. So that's really, really good. And I just think, yeah, there is a bit of a resurgence. There's always been, you know, DJ Shadow, Cut Chemist and people like that have always kept the 45 thing alive. And of course, the 45 King. But yeah, I think it's time that DJs, whether you're new to 45s or whether you're going to dust off your collection from the attic or from the closet, I think it's time to get into 45s a bit more. Now, if you want to get into 45s and you don't have a collection, it's pretty easy to do. They're very affordable. You know, I've picked up loads recently as I've been getting back into it. On eBay, you know, flea markets, charity shops and that kind of thing. You can pick them up for $1 or $2 each easily in good condition. And that could be old stuff like funk and soul and disco, even early 80s hip hop. Loads of that was on 45. So it's all out there to be found. If you start digging enough, you can get it. There are also a number of labels that do great represses of stuff. Like, for example, Dinked Records do a whole series of stuff. They've got things from KRS-One, Souls of Mischief, Jimmy Castor, and all this kind of stuff is all on brand new 45s, which you can pick up now. So it doesn't have to be necessarily old records, and there is, you know, new beats being produced on 45 as well. Of course, you know, I've got a few in here, stuff like Dope Gems, you know, they're putting out new music on 45, but there's a whole world of music out there that can be picked up really cheaply. And you're going to find if you start playing around with it on your turntables, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, there are challenges to playing 45s compared to a 12-inch set, of course, but there are also some kind of joys with it. One of the joys is they're so small and light. So each one weighs about a third of what a 12-inch does. So this Magma Riot 45 bag, which is just a great bag, it's $160, holds 150 7-inch records in there, and it's the 50-50 design, so you can split it in half and flick through really easily. Comes with an extra bag on top, it's really heavily padded. Really like this bag. They do a small version as well, which holds about 60 7-inch singles in there too, and they do a version which is branded with the 45 Kings logo on there. So if you know he's approved it, you know it's a good product. Really into the Magma Riot bag, it's fantastic. But yeah, that lightweight does kind of have disadvantages when it comes to playing them on your turntables and actually mixing. For starters, they can kind of slip a lot more easily. If they're ever so slightly concave, even just a tiny bit, you'll find them speeding up and slowing down and sort of slurring like that. One old tip for that is to actually put, you want quite a rough card sleeve ideally, but what you would do is pull it off, put a card sleeve underneath, and that will often stop it slipping quite so much as it did before. And it just means you have to be a little bit more kind of light of touch when you're actually scratching and queuing up and so on. So we've got a straight tone arm on here, that kind of makes life easier. This is a new record, it's not kind of warped in any way, but yeah, often it's quite easy to get them to jump, and it just means you have to practice at not being heavy-handed. So you've got all the advantages of playing and practicing with real vinyl, so there's no waveforms, there's no BPM counters, you know, you've got to use your ears, but also you have to be light of touch. And that's a really good habit to have, even if you use DVS and relative mode all the time. You've got to keep that feeling of being light of touch, and it will make you a better DJ overall. If you keep playing with 45s a lot, I promise you it will make you a better DJ. So from that point of view, that's all good. And at home, I think, yeah, you shouldn't really use any extra aids to kind of assist you in your 45. You know, take the format for what it is. It is a little bit more difficult to use, but that's the joy of it when you're playing at home. Now, if you're actually going to take them out and DJ with them in a kind of club or bar environment, the part of that which is fun, you know, that kind of inconsistency, that kind of thing where they might speed up and slow down because they're not gripping right, that becomes a problem because you want to offer a good experience, obviously, to the people enjoying your set. So there are some tools that we have to kind of increase the usability of 45s in a club environment. Firstly, you're going to want to get a better 45 adapter. If you've got your traditional Technics one, that's not good. You know, it can be overly tight with a lot of things. It's hard to get records on and off of it. So what you want to do is go down the sort of reggae selector style and go for a cone adapter, something like that, or the bullet shaped ones. You know, get one of those, pop it on the middle, and then you can easily just slip the records on and off without any problem at all. Makes life a lot easier when you're playing with the large dinked 45s. Now, not all 45s are dinked. In the UK in particular, and Europe, we had a lot more with the standard kind of small spindle size hole on there. So it's a bit trickier working with the large hole ones, but yeah, use the better 45 adapters. That will make your life a lot easier. Now, one other thing you can do, this is a really old innovation, it's like dates back to the 60s, I think, the 45 twister. Now, this particular model comes from Compost Records in Germany. It's basically a big plastic 12-inch, and pop it onto the platter on top of your slip mat. It's got the adapter, it's built into it, and then you've got this kind of stickier foam pad. Put your 45 on top, and the 45 grips onto that, and you can basically then use the outer edge, the hard plastic, for your cueing or your scratching. This is kind of cheating, you know, as I say, it takes away a little bit from that kind of joy of playing with a 45, but when you're in the club, you want that consistency, so they make life a lot easier. But the thing with that is they've got the 45 adapter built in, so if a lot of your 45s aren't dinked with the large hole, that's not going to be a lot of use to you. Unfortunately, I bought 2 of these before I kind of realised, oh yeah, I've got loads of regular size spindles. So threw that one out the window. The next option is the Dr. Suzuki donuts. Now this is the winner for me. I absolutely love these. You get a regular piece of vinyl, put it on your slip mat, put the donut on top. The donut grips onto the 12-inch really solidly, and then you get your 45 adapter. If you've got that, put your 45 on top, and that grips onto the donut. So now we've got basically the same thing as the 45 twister, but with the flexibility to use a small hole, large hole, whatever you've got. And you're scratching with the outside, you're cueing with the outside, the record doesn't slip. They're a really great invention. I absolutely love the donuts, they're just fantastic. One last thing that I'm going to mention in terms of technology for playing these things back is the Mastersounds vinyl weights. Now, they make them for regular 12-inch vinyl as well. When I first saw these, I thought this is absolute audiophile bullshit. I really did. And then I actually got one, and I ripped some vinyl with the weight and without the weight, and the sound quality is genuinely improved. The bass is tighter, it's just a better sound if you put these on. They weigh about 500 grams, and yeah, acoustically, you know, in terms of audio performance, they're fantastic. They also really help if you've got a slightly warped record, slightly concave or convex, it will flatten it out. It won't work miracles, but it's definitely a help. It will help you play back, especially if you're dealing with loads of old records. You know, you want something that's going to straighten them out a little bit. They do a version that works with 45s specifically, so it's got the 45 adapter built in. You pop it on the top, click it into place, pop that on there, and then that will work really nicely. So you get the acoustic benefits of it, plus you actually get the slight flattening of it, and it's all locked into place with the donut there. That's my sort of preferred setup. The only problem again is I don't have exclusively dinked 45s. I've got lots with the regular hole, so I use the little plastic adapters in all my dinked ones. Pop these in there, so they've all got those in my crate. Pop that on, and then use a regular Mastersounds weight, just a flat bottom, put that on the top, and that's it. I can use my 45s in the club as if they're 12 inches, but still with the weight advantage, the size advantage, and then when I'm at home, I can just jam out without all these extra kind of tools and toys, just playing with it. And that's really what I want you to encourage you to do, is just, if you don't have any 45s, go pick up a bunch, get down the flea market, go pick a load up. If you have a collection in the attic, dig it out, dust it off, and get playing, because 45s are just the most fun thing to play with, and that is the key. DJing should always be fun, and I have so much more fun playing with 45s than I do with any other format. And I'm not going to forsake the technology that I use. Don't get me wrong, I will never, give up my technology. CDJs and record box and USB sticks and all that kind of stuff is awesome. I would never go back to playing vinyl full time. It just wouldn't work in terms of the music that I play. But doing 45 sets is just a joy. It's a real pleasure. It teaches you record handling in a way that you can't pick up anywhere else. So I just implore you, give it a try. And if you haven't for a while, get back into it. You will have a blast, I promise you. Thank you very much for watching today. Make sure you subscribe for all our future tips, tricks, and product reviews. I'll see you soon.